Hi everyone, it's Nicole and I'm here with another layout. This is, I'm starting to use those page kits that I took forever to put together. So altogether I put 36 page kits. And so I'm starting with page number 1 or packet number 1. And I did use the 25th one when I did the layout, my last layout that I did of King Louis and the Pampered Pooch. And so now I'm going to try and use them in the order that I put them together, but we'll see. This time it worked out. I just grabbed the page kit. I looked inside for if I had put a little recipe card, and I did, and it said Thanksgiving pictures. So I just went into my photos and I grabbed the Thanksgiving pictures that I had taken last year. Now, one of the pattern papers, which is from Echo Park, I believe, when I flipped it over, which is the polka dot one, it had these, I don't know, they look like a string and then just little doodles on each side. And I really liked the colors. It went perfectly with this page kit. So I cut 2 strips of it, and thankfully, the 2 strips that were close to each other were the exact color that I needed for this page kit. And I cut, it's about a 1/2 inch, and I took the light one, which I'm going to put at the top of the layout, and then the dark one, which I'm going to put at the bottom of the layout. And I put them in that way specifically because the darker one is a little darker, so it fits better at the bottom of the layout, and the light one at the top. Now, the first thing I did when I opened the page kit is I separated everything. So I put my enamel dots together, I put my wood veneers together, and I put all the paper embellishments all together. Now, you know, they're all sitting there to the side. Now I'm going to start putting them on the layout. And I'm trying to figure out how I want to put my pictures. Do I want to put them side by side or one on top of the other? And I decide just so that I would have a different look. I do a lot of times side by side, so I decide to go one on top of the other, and then I'm going to take my X-Acto knife. I'm going to roughly cut around it, and then I'm going to take my paper trimmer and I'm going to do a better job of making it somewhat straight. I'm not too fussy whether it's perfectly straight or not. Now, as you can tell, when I put my photo on my trimmers, or my photos on my trimmer at the beginning, I don't put it at the top and try to line it up because it's crooked. So I put it down the trimmer, and with my light, I try to make it as straight as possible. And then once I have my straight edge, then I can try to make my edges or my mat as straight as I possibly can around the layout. Now at this point, I don't know if how much I want to cut down that polka dot paper. And I've said this many times, when I don't know what I want to do, I move on to something else. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to play with the embellishments, see how I'm going to put them around the layout. So I start with that big rectangle, and it's actually the backing of a die cut pack. I believe it was LE Studio maybe, and it had the perfect tones for this layout. It had little doodles on it that had like a light purple on it. Now, purple is not a color that I use a lot in my scrapbook, but it was perfect for this layout. When I took out the pictures, which when I put this page kit together, because of the embellishments I chose, I decided on Thanksgiving pictures, but I had no idea that my mom was wearing a purple shirt, which went really well with, you know, the papers that I chose. And then one of my daughters is wearing sort of a bluish shirt, and so it's going to really coordinate with the journaling spot that I'm going to put on this layout. And I'm just going to put one spot of blue. And when I divide the colors like that, one thing that I try to do is either I make one thing, I choose one color or one embellishment in one of the embellishment clusters, or I try to make it in 3. And what I mean by that is I tried to make it uneven, so like an uneven number. So in this instance, there's one blue embellishment, or I tried to do 3 of one thing, so 3 of enamel shapes, or 3 of wood veneers. But it is something I have to stress. It's not something that is written in stone and I have to do it. And a lot of times it's something that is unconscious, that as I'm putting my page kits together, one thing that I make sure that I have a ton of embellishments. Now, when I finished putting this page together, I counted how many embellishments there was on this, and there was 20 plus. And I say 20 plus because I didn't count each of the enamel dots as 1, 2. Let's say if there was 7 enamel dots, well, I didn't count the enamel dots as 7. I counted all enamel dots as one embellishment thing. But there's 20 plus, and you're going to see that I have a ton left over. Now, I had a question on the last video that asked, what am I going to do with all the leftovers that I'm going to have? And I believe maybe it wasn't in the last video, but it was in one of the videos. And in the last video, I showed you the plate, the ceramic plate that I'm going to put all the embellishments in. So as soon as I was done this layout, I took all the embellishments and I put it in that plate. So I'll try to remember next time I do a page kit that I put a page kit together, I'll show that plate again. And then I'm going to take an iris tray or an iris container, and I'm going to put all the finished layouts in it, and also the leftover pattern papers, because pattern papers is big enough. I don't mind putting it with my finished pages. I just don't want too many containers floating around, so I think 2 is going to be plenty. And at the end, when I finish putting all these page kits together, I'm going to do a video showing you everything that I have left over from that first round and all the pages that we got done. Now, my plan is once I get these pages done and I have, a bunch of embellishments left over and some pattern papers, I'm going to make some more page kits and try to use even more embellishments. But I would say with this page kit, I must have had over 50 embellishments pulled with this page kit. So there was no way that I was going to be able to use all of it on this page, but it was nice to have the option. I didn't have to go into my stash and grab anything else. Everything was just, right there in that page kit, and I was ready to go. And another thing that's really good when you have this done is when you go to a crop, because you just grab your page kits and you go. And what's good to have these page kits done, just all the time is, I don't know if you're like me, but I have all the good intentions that, I'm going to a crop and I have 2 weeks left to get ready. And then before I know, it's like, oh my goodness, it's this Friday and, I'm rushing to pack, because I always try to go early and help my friend unpack for her crop. So I don't have that day to get ready, because usually we're leaving at 9, 10 o'clock in the morning. So I have to be ready the day before. So I'm packing in a rush and getting ready. And this time, what's the date today? October 13th. So in, 3 weekends? Let me just quickly check here how many weekends I have left before I am going to be leaving. Yeah, so 3 weekends, 3 Fridays from now. And I'm not going to start packing now, because I plan on doing probably 6 more pages before I go. But now, because, it took me quite a bit of time to put these page kits together, I probably won't have to do any page kits whatsoever. But what I will film is I'm going to show you exactly what I'm going to bring to the crop, and this time I'm going to try to make it so that it is sort of a record, but I'm going to try to bring as least thing as possible. I'm going to try and just bring my page kits, a few missed, and I'll show you exactly how I'm going to prepare for all of that. I'm going to go through my kits and try to figure out, you know, like which mist that I absolutely need, and whether I'm going to bring some washi tape or some twine, some stamps. But I'm going to make it that I'm going to, you know, when I come home, it's going to be very little unpacking. That's what I'm hoping is going to happen. But anyway, so back to this layout. So I mounted that rectangle that was the backing of the LE Studio. To the left of that photo block, I mounted the blue writing paper or line paper on top of that, and that's where I'm going to do my journaling. And right next to that, there's a little tag that I put there, and it said something about special memories. And then under the journaling block, there's, what is it? It says family traditions, and I'm going to put that right underneath the journaling block. And then there was a kind of an awkward little spot there, so I cut one of my tags, not tags, little labels. I cut it in half and I put it at the top left embellishment cluster, and then I also put it underneath that tag just so that it kind of filled up that little awkward little spot. And then I'm just taking the rest of the stuff and I'm just trying to divide it between all the embellishment cluster. This one is a little happy face, so I'm going to put that next to that photo. And it was, you know, I just want to talk about, for years it was really hard for us to be able to, you know, host. I have a big family, you know, I have 3 kids, and when you have, you know, their boyfriends, and Jessica has a child, and then my mom and her husband, and like for my mom's funeral, there was my brother and his family, and he's got 2 kids and his wife. It was really hard. We didn't have the room in the old house for any of that, and I used to hate that. A lot of times when we did do something, it was in the summer, and we'd open up the tent trailer so, you know, people could sleep. The kids would sleep in the tent trailer so that we'd have the room. Or people would just go home the same day, or take a hotel or whatever. So it's so nice to be able to have the room. Yes, we still have to take, you know, a mattress up and put it in the living room so that we have room for for extra people. Because like I said, just with my kids, it's a lot of people. And then when you add another whole family, but at least it's all contained in one house and everybody's in the same house. So that's what I want to talk about for this page, is how thankful we are that we are able to make family time now, or family meals, that it is so much more fun for us. And Jessica comes over probably with Mason maybe once a week, sometimes twice, and then the next week she won't come. But so it's just nice to be able to do that kind of stuff. So this page is not really going to be about Thanksgiving, but it is about things that we are thankful for. So I guess it kind of ties in with Thanksgiving. And I really like that I used a color that I don't use a lot. And again, that is one of the things that I love the most about doing page kits, is that I make sure when I pull page kits that I use different colors. You know, if I just pull one page kit and I scrap with it, and then, you know, 4 or 5 days later I pull another page kit, I might pull the exact same color or a tone of that color and scrap again, because it's kind of out of my mind because it was a few days ago. But I'm putting these page kits together, I keep in mind, okay, I just did a blue and a pink and a green page, so now I got to try to look for different colors. And where I'm not, you know, specifically picking a specific collection or anything like that, I just grab a stack of pattern papers from my stash. Then I have papers from all kinds of collections, so that there's going to be different colors. So it was fun to scrap with a different color, and I just noticed it totally matches my Fitbit blaze. And just a little bit of warning, there is not going to be any pictures at the end of this layout because I am in a rush to try to get this up today. But that's it for this page, and I want to thank you so much for watching. Talk to you soon. Bye.